and welcome to the Code Clarity podcast. I'm Rena.
And I'm Jean. So today we wanted to talk about the new guidance that's been issued by the PMCPA on meetings and the requirements for when you support HCPs to go to meetings.
And so it might be worth just highlighting to the listeners, what does the code say versus what the new guidance says, and maybe where the confusion has come along that we can hopefully clarify. So Jean, what is it that the code 2024 says about supporting HCPs?
Okay, so you've always been allowed to support HCPs to attend meetings, and that is both company meetings or third-party meetings. And what the new part of the code about this is that there has to be a written agreement in place for when you support HCP to go to this meeting or attend a meeting. And there also has to be a rationale of why you have provided that support. So that is the new part. Now, when we did our code update webinar, we did actually ask everyone on that webinar, are you already doing this? Is this going to be a big piece of work? And most people on that webinar said, oh yeah, no, we already do this. We already have written agreements for this type of support. So if that's what is the new part of the code, why has this guidance come up? What does this guidance tell us?
The guidance seems to focus more on the rationale piece of things rather than the written agreement. So yes, we know that the code applies here to any types of meetings, whether they are promotional or non-promotional and so on and so forth. But the rationale piece, obviously the PMCPA have received queries about, and what the new guidance is saying, we need to document that rationale in some sort of internal document about why we're taking people, but also why we're providing certain types of support. So when I used to mentor final signatories, we used to call this support FAT support: fees, accommodation and travel. And that is why most companies have probably already got a written agreement here, because we've been doing disclosure on this for quite some time. So FAT support is what we need to also keep an eye on. So Jean, the third question for us is, we know what the code says, we know what the guidance says. What are our thoughts on how we can simplify this for everyone out there trying to implement it?
Okay, so as you said, the big piece of the guidance is about the rationale and how you document that. And they have said that you don't have to document that within the written agreement. It can be documented in an internal document. I would say, there's no reason not to put it in the written agreement so that it's just all in one place. I mean, we're talking about being transparent with everybody here, aren't we? So we're not trying to hide anything. So as regards to the attending the meeting, the rationale for going to the meeting, I'd say there's only one real rationale for that, and that's the educational content of the meeting. I'm struggling to think of what else you would put for that rationale. So I'd say that's an easy one. You can just put this, the reason for attending this meeting, support to attend this meeting, is for educational content.
Yeah. Perfect. So a standard line for attending the meeting and keeping the rationale in your working agreement. And what about the point around the rationale for the FAT support?
Yeah, so then that would be the sort of the travel or the accommodation, because the fees would be covered in that, educational content. So the accommodation and travel. I mean, you're going to have, and all companies will have, a policy as to when it is appropriate to provide travel support and when it is appropriate to provide overnight accommodation. So again, you've got that documented in detail in your policies about when that kicks in and what's allowed there. So again, I'd say in the written agreement, you could just have a line that is included, if appropriate, to say travel has been provided in line with company policy, or accommodation has been provided in line with company policy. So you're being clear as to there is a rationale for it. Yeah, but you can refer to the policy for the actual nitty-gritty detail of the hours, etc.
Okay, so less is more, and keep everything in one place, which is the written agreement.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jean.
Thanks, Rena. Bye.
Bye.